The ground shook as another blast hit the outer walls. Hyunwoo Kim pressed his back against the cold metal barrier and tried to catch his breath. Dust and smoke filled the air around him. His hands shook as he gripped his rifle tighter. "How many more waves can we stop?" Yuna Park asked through the radio. Her voice sounded tired and scared. She was hiding behind a broken piece of concrete 50 meters away. Hyunwoo looked through a crack in the wall. The alien army stretched out like a dark sea. Thousands of HFY soldiers moved forward in perfect lines. Their strange bio-armor gleamed under the red sun. Behind them, massive war machines crawled across the ground like giant metal spiders. "Maybe 2 more attacks," Hyunwoo said into his radio. "Then we run out of bullets." The colony had been fighting for 6 months. When the HFY first arrived, they had 5,000 people. Now only 300 were left alive. Most of them were hurt or too scared to fight. Taemin Lee worked on the shield generator in the main building. Sparks flew from broken wires as he tried to fix the machine. Sweat ran down his face. "The shield is at 20% power," he called out. "One more hit from their big guns and it will break." Sujin Choi moved between the wounded people in the medical center. She had run out of real medicine days ago. Now she used torn cloth and whatever she could find to help people. "We need to get the children to the back rooms," she said to anyone who would listen. Donghyun Ryu sat at his communication desk. He had been sending messages for help for weeks. No one answered. His fingers moved over the buttons as he tried again and again. "Earth Command, this is Kepler Colony," he spoke into the microphone. "We need help. Please respond." Only static came back through the speakers. The aliens had destroyed every other human colony in this part of space. Earth was too far away to send help in time. Everyone knew this was the end. The HFY never let anyone live. They took over planets and killed everyone who fought back. Another explosion shook the ground. A piece of the ceiling fell down and hit Hyunwoo on the shoulder. He ignored the pain and looked outside again. The alien army was getting closer. "They are moving the big machines forward," Yuna said through the radio. Her voice was very quiet now. "The ones with the plasma cannons." Hyunwoo knew what that meant. Those machines could break through their walls in minutes. After that, the aliens would pour into the colony like water through a broken dam. "Everyone get ready," he said into his radio. This is it. The people in the colony picked up their weapons. Some had rifles. Others had simple guns or even knives. A few had nothing but rocks. Children hid behind their parents. Old people said prayers in languages from Earth that felt very far away. Taemin hit the shield generator with his tool. "Come on," he said to the machine. "Just hold together a little longer." The machine made strange noises but kept working. Sujin looked at the children in the back room. They stared at her with big, scared eyes. She tried to smile, but her face felt frozen. "Everything will be okay," she lied. The children did not believe her. Donghyun tried one more time to call for help. "This is Kepler Colony to anyone listening," he said. "We are under attack. 300 people are about to die. If anyone can hear this, please remember that we tried our best." The alien war machines stopped moving. They pointed their big guns at the colony walls. Hyunwoo could see the weapons charging up. Blue light gathered at the tips of the cannons. "Here they come," Yuna whispered. The first plasma blast hit the shield. The air turned bright white for a second. The shield held but got much weaker. Taemin watched his machines. Red warning lights flashed everywhere. "Shield at 5%, he called out. The second blast came right after. This time the shield flickered and went out. The blue energy barrier that had protected them for months disappeared like smoke. The alien army moved forward. Their bio-armor made wet, sliding sounds as they walked. Some of them were tall and thin like spiders. Others were short and thick like rocks. All of them had weapons that could kill a human in one shot. Hyunwoo stood up and pointed his rifle at the closest alien. "For Earth," he said, even though Earth could not hear him. The other colonists stood up too. They knew they would die in the next few minutes, but they would not die hiding. Yuna aimed her gun. Taemin grabbed a rifle and ran to the wall. Even Sujin came out of the medical center with a small pistol. The aliens were only 50 meters away now. Hyunwoo could see their strange faces through their helmets. They did not look angry or excited. They looked bored. To them, this was just another day of work. Donghyun kept trying his radio one last time. "This is our final message," he said. "Tell Earth that the Kepler colony fought to the end. Tell them we never gave up." The alien war machines aimed their cannons at the main building. The weapons began to charge again. This time there was no shield to stop them. Hyunwoo closed his eyes for just a second. He thought about Earth. He thought about green grass and blue skies. He thought about his family who lived so far away they would never know what happened here. When he opened his eyes, the aliens were 30 meters away. "Fire!" Yuna shouted. The colonists shot their weapons. Some aliens fell down, but more kept coming. There were too many of them. For every alien that died, 10 more took its place. The war machines finished charging their weapons. Hyunwoo could see death coming toward him in the form of blue plasma fire. Then the sky exploded. Bright streaks of light cut through the air above them. At first, Hyunwoo thought the aliens were attacking from above too. Then he saw that the lights were falling toward the alien army, not the colony. Explosions burst all around the HFY soldiers. The aliens stopped moving forward and looked up at the sky. They seemed confused. Their perfect lines broke apart as they tried to figure out what was happening. More lights fell from above. These ones looked like metal boxes with fire coming out the bottom. They crashed into the ground between the aliens and the colony. Smoke rose from the crash sites. For a moment, everything was quiet. Even the alien war machines stopped firing their guns. Then the smoke cleared. Hyunwoo stared at what he saw. Men and women in heavy armor stood where the metal boxes had crashed. But these were not aliens. They looked human. They carried weapons that Hyunwoo had never seen before. Their armor was black and silver and covered with strange symbols. One of the armored figures turned toward the colony. Through the helmet, Hyunwoo could see a human face. The person lifted their hand and spoke into a radio. "Kepler Colony, this is Captain Jae Hyuk Song of the Earth Defense Force," the voice said. It sounded calm and strong.
"Sorry we are late.
"Please stay down while we clean up this mess." Hyunwoo felt his legs go weak. He sat down hard on the ground. Around him, other colonists were crying or laughing or just staring in shock. Dong-hyun grabbed his microphone. "Who are you?" he asked. "How did you get here?" "We came to take you home," Captain Song replied. "Earth has not forgotten about you." The armored soldiers began walking toward the alien army. The HFY raised their weapons, but something was wrong. The aliens seemed afraid. Hyunwoo had never seen a HFY look afraid before. Captain Jae Hyuk Song walked toward the alien army like he was taking a morning walk. His black armor moved smoothly with each step. The rifle in his hands looked bigger and more deadly than anything the colonists had ever seen. Behind him, more armored soldiers came out of the smoke. Hyunwoo counted 12 of them. 12 humans against thousands of aliens. It should have been suicide. But the HFY army had stopped moving forward. The aliens were pointing their weapons at the human soldiers and making strange clicking sounds. Hyunwoo had heard those sounds before. It was how the aliens talked to each other when they were confused or scared. "Sergeant Hyojin Nam, take the left side," Captain Song said into his radio. His voice was calm and steady. "Lieutenant Wonho Bae, you have the right. Everyone else straight up the middle." A woman in armor that looked even heavier than the captain stepped to the left. "Copy that, sir," Sergeant Nam said. "Time to show these bugs what humans can do." She raised her weapon and pulled the trigger. A beam of bright red light shot out and hit one of the alien war machines. The massive metal spider exploded in a ball of fire. Pieces of burning metal flew everywhere. The HFY army finally moved. They charged forward with their weapons firing. Blue plasma blasts filled the air. But the human soldiers did not run or hide. They just kept walking forward. Lieutenant Bae moved to the right side of the battlefield. His armor had extra equipment on the back. He pointed a device at the sky and spoke into his radio. "Orbital support, this is Ground Team Alpha. I need fire on Grid 77 Charlie. What is orbital support?" Taemin asked from inside the colony. Before anyone could answer, streaks of light came down from space. They hit the alien army like hammers from heaven. Each blast destroyed dozens of HFY soldiers. The ground shook and turned black where the lights hit. "That is orbital support," Yuna said quietly. Corporal Min Seo Kang moved around the side of the alien army. She was faster than any human Hyunwoo had ever seen. Her armor seemed to help her jump higher and run quicker. She got behind a group of aliens and started shooting. Every shot killed an alien soldier. The HFY tried to surround her, but she was already gone. She appeared somewhere else and kept shooting. The aliens could not keep up with her speed. Private Seong Jun Lim stood in front of a narrow gap between two broken buildings. A wave of alien soldiers ran toward him. There had to be 50 of them. He did not move or try to run away. One soldier cannot stop 50 aliens, Sujin said from the medical center. Private Lim proved her wrong. He raised his weapon and started firing. The gun shot so fast it sounded like one long scream. Aliens fell down one after another. When some got close, he pulled out a silver sword that glowed with energy. The sword cut through alien armor like it was paper. In less than 2 minutes, all 50 aliens were dead. Private Lim was still standing in the same spot. Staff Sergeant Yuri Han was talking to someone on her radio. "I need a bombing run on the big machines," she said. "Yes, danger close. We can handle it." Ships appeared in the sky above them. They were small and fast. Not like the huge Kethvar vessels. The human ships dropped bombs on the alien war machines. Each bomb was placed exactly where it needed to be. Not one bomb fell near the human soldiers or the colony. "How do they know where we are?" Dong-hyun asked. Captain Song answered through the radio. "We have been watching this planet for weeks. We know where every person is. The alien army was falling apart. Their perfect lines were broken. Their war machines were burning. But the worst part for them was that they could not understand what was happening. The Kethvar had conquered hundreds of worlds. They had fought thousands of different species. But they had never seen anything like this. The humans fought in ways that made no sense to them. One alien commander tried to reorganize his soldiers. He made the clicking sounds that meant form defensive positions. But before his soldiers could move, Lieutenant Bay called down another orbital strike. The commander and his entire unit disappeared in a flash of light. Another group of aliens tried to retreat to their ships. Corporal Kang was already there waiting for them. She had somehow gotten to their landing site before they did. The aliens found their ships on fire and their escape route blocked. Sergeant Nam walked into the middle of the alien army. Plasma blasts hit her armor but did not hurt her. The energy just bounced off like raindrops. She shot her weapon in a wide circle. Aliens fell down all around her like cut grass. "Their armor," Hyunwoo said. "How can it stop plasma fire?" Captain Song heard him through the radio. "Earth has learned a lot in the past 20 years, he said. "We have been getting ready for this fight." The human soldiers moved like they were dancing. Each person knew exactly where the others were. They never shot at the same target twice. They never got in each other's way. It was like watching a machine made of 12 parts working perfectly together. Private Lim jumped on top of one of the alien war machines. He shoved his glowing sword into the control center. The machine stopped moving and fell over. Aliens inside tried to get out, but the machine was too damaged. Staff Sergeant Han pointed her weapon at a group of alien aircraft that were trying to take off. Her gun shot some kind of rocket that followed the aircraft as they flew. One by one, the alien ships exploded and crashed back to the ground. "How many humans are up there?" Yuna asked, looking at the sky. Lieutenant Bay answered while he called down another orbital strike. "Enough," he said. The battle lasted less than an hour. When it was over, the entire Kethvar army was dead or running away. Thousands of aliens had been destroyed by 12 human soldiers. Captain Song walked back toward the colony. His armor was not even scratched. "Colony secure," he said into his radio. "Beginning evacuation procedures." Hyunwoo stood up slowly. His legs still felt weak. Around him, the other colonists were coming out of their hiding places. They all stared at the human soldiers like they were looking at ghosts. "Who are you people?" Taemin asked. Sergeant Nam took off her helmet. She had a young face but old eyes. "We are Earth Defense Force orbital drop shock troopers," she said. "And we have come to take you home." Sujin looked at the battlefield. Burning alien machines were scattered everywhere. "But how did you know we were here? How did you get here so fast?" Captain Song removed his helmet too. He had scars on his face and gray hair at his temples. "We have been tracking the Kethvar for a long time," he said. "We knew they would attack this colony. We have been waiting for the right moment." "Waiting for what?" Dong-hyun asked. Captain Song smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had been planning something for a very long time. "Waiting to start the war," he said. Large ships began appearing in the sky. They were bigger than the small fighters, but smaller than the huge Kethvar vessels. Human ships coming down to land near the colony. "Pack only what you need," Sergeant Nam told the colonists. "We are leaving this planet in 1 hour. Where are we going?" Hyunwoo asked. "Somewhere safe," Captain Song said, "while Earth finishes what the Kethvar started." As the colonists gathered their few belongings, they could see more streaks of light in the sky. But these were not falling toward the planet. They were shooting up into space toward the alien ships that were trying to escape. The war had begun. The human transport ship was bigger inside than it looked from outside. Hyunwoo walked through hallways that seemed to stretch forever. The walls were clean and white. Everything looked new and expensive. Admiral Bo Young-cha waited for them in a large room with many chairs. She was a tall woman with short gray hair and sharp eyes. Her uniform was covered with medals and symbols that the colonists did not recognize. "Please sit down," she said. Her voice was kind but serious. "I know you have many questions." The 300 colonists filled the chairs. Some of them still had bandages from the fighting. Others held small children who would not stop crying. Everyone looked tired and confused. Taemin raised his hand like he was in school. "Admiral, how did you find us? We sent messages for months, but no one answered." Admiral Cha smiled sadly. "We heard every message," she said, "but we could not answer. If the Kethvar knew we were coming, they would have killed you immediately." "But why did you wait so long?" Sujin asked. "So many people died." The Admiral's face became hard. "Because we needed the Kethvar to think they were winning. We needed them to bring their main army to one place." Dr. Kyung-ho Park stood up next to the Admiral. He was a thin man with thick glasses and hands that moved constantly when he talked. "The Kethvar have been expanding across the galaxy for 300 years, he said. "They have conquered over 1,000 worlds. No one has ever stopped them. Until now," Admiral Cha added. Dong-hyun shook his head. "But how? You are just humans like us. The Kethvar have better technology. They have more ships. They have been fighting wars since before Earth even knew there were aliens." Dr. Park pushed his glasses up his nose. "That is what everyone thinks," he said, "including the Kethvar, and that is exactly why we are going to win." He walked to a large screen on the wall. Pictures appeared showing Earth and its moon, but they looked different from the Earth the colonists remembered. 22 years ago, the first human refugees reached Earth, Dr. Park said. "They told us about the Kethvar. They said the aliens were coming and could not be stopped." The pictures on the screen changed. Now they showed huge factories and shipyards orbiting Earth. Thousands of workers in spacesuits built massive ships and weapons. "Most of Earth's leaders wanted to run," Admiral Cha said. "They wanted to take our people to the far edge of the galaxy and hide. But some of us had a different idea." "What idea?" Yuna asked. "We decided to fight," the Admiral said simply. Commander Yoon-ji Lee entered the room. She was younger than the Admiral, but moved with the same confidence. While the Kethvar thought they were hunting scattered human refugees, Earth was building the largest military force in galactic history. More pictures appeared on the screen. Fleets of human ships filled space around Earth. Soldiers in advanced armor trained in massive facilities. Scientists worked on weapons that looked like they came from dreams. "We studied every piece of Kethvar technology we could find," Dr. Park said. "We learned how their bioarmor works. We discovered the weak points in their ships. We figured out how their minds work." Colonel Woo-sung Kim walked into the room carrying a large tablet. He was an older man with many scars on his face and arms. "We also sent spies into Kethvar space," he said. "Spies?" Hyunwoo asked. "How?" "Humans can look like many different alien species if we use the right technology," Colonel Kim explained. "We had people living among the Kethvar for years. They told us everything about alien military plans." The pictures changed again. Now they showed maps of the galaxy with red and blue markers. The red ones showed Kethvar positions. The blue ones showed human forces. "Your colony was not forgotten," Admiral Cha said. "It was bait." Sujin stood up angrily. "Bait? You let our friends die so you could trick the aliens?" "Yes," the Admiral said. She did not look sorry. "And because of that sacrifice, we are going to save millions of lives on other worlds." Commander Lee touched the screen. The map changed to show real-time positions. Right now, human forces are attacking Kethvar positions all across the galaxy. The aliens sent their best armies to crush the human colonies. That left their homeworlds poorly defended. "You planned all of this?" Taemin asked. "Every detail," Colonel Kim said. "We knew the Kethvar would attack the colonies first. We knew they would bring overwhelming force. We knew they would want to make examples of you to scare other species." Dr. Park added, "The Kethvar think in straight lines. They always do the same thing. If you study them long enough, you can predict exactly what they will do." "But humans do not think in straight lines," Admiral Cha said. "We adapt. We change our plans. We do things that make no sense to other species." The screen showed a battle happening right now somewhere in space. Human ships moved in patterns that looked like chaos but worked perfectly. They surrounded alien vessels and destroyed them before the Kethvar could respond. "Are we winning?" Donghyun asked quietly. "We are destroying them," Commander Lee said with satisfaction. "In the past 6 hours we have taken out 60% of their main fleet. Their ground armies are cut off from supplies. Their command structure is falling apart." Colonel Kim smiled for the first time since he entered the room. The species that has conquered the galaxy for 300 years is about to be defeated by humans who only learned about Space War 20 years ago. "But what happens to us?" Yuna asked. "What happens to the colonies?" Admiral Cha sat down in front of the colonists. "You go home," she said. "All of you. Not just to Earth, but to any world you want to live on. The galaxy is about to become a much safer place. The Kethvar controlled over 1,000 worlds," Dr. Park explained. "When we defeat them, those worlds will be free. Many of them have good climates for humans. You can build new colonies anywhere you want. And Earth will protect them," Commander Lee added. "We are not going to let anyone else try to build an empire like the Kethvar did." Hyunwoo looked around at his fellow colonists. They still looked confused, but hope was starting to replace fear on their faces. "How long have you been planning this war?" "Since the day we learned the Kethvar existed," Admiral Cha said. "Earth does not like bullies, and we really do not like bullies who hurt our people." The screen changed one more time. Now it showed Earth as seen from space. The planet looked green and blue and beautiful. But around it were thousands of ships and space stations. Weapons that could destroy planets. Defenses that could stop any attack. "Earth is not the same planet you left," Colonel Kim said. "We have become something the galaxy has never seen before. A species that can fight back against anyone who tries to hurt innocent people. What are we?" Sujin asked. Admiral Cha stood up and looked out a window at the stars. In the distance, they could see explosions as human ships destroyed the last Kethvar forces in this system. "We are what happens when you threaten human families," she said. "We are what you get when you make Earth angry." The Admiral turned back to the colonists. "The Kethvar thought humans were weak because we care about each other. They thought our kindness made us easy targets. They were wrong," Dr. Park said quietly. "Very wrong," Commander Lee agreed. Colonel Kim checked his tablet. "Admiral, the Kepler system is secure. All Kethvar forces have been eliminated. The fleet is ready to move to the next target." Admiral Cha nodded. "Send the message to all human forces. Phase 2 begins now." "What is Phase 2? Taemin asked. The Admiral smiled. This time it was not a sad smile or an angry smile. It was the smile of someone who was about to finish a very important job. "Phase 2 is when we take the war to their homeworlds," she said. "The Kethvar wanted to destroy humanity. Instead, they are about to learn what happens when humanity decides to destroy them." General Ji-hoon Choi stood on the bridge of the battleship Earth's Fury and watched the Kethvar homeworld grow larger on the main screen. Vex Prime was a dark planet, covered in biomechanical cities that looked like giant insects. For 300 years, no enemy had ever reached this place. "All fleets report ready," his communications officer said. "Begin the attack," General Choi ordered. Thousands of human ships moved toward the planet. They came from every direction at once. The Kethvar defenses tried to respond, but they were designed to stop attacks from one direction. They had never imagined anyone would attack from everywhere at the same time. Admiral Sujin, Yoon commanded the space battle from her flagship, Human Will. Her ships moved in patterns that confused the alien defenders. When the Kethvar tried to surround one group of human ships, they found themselves surrounded by 3 other groups. "Target their command stations," Admiral Yoon ordered. "Cut off their communications." Her ships fired missiles that flew through space like angry wasps. Each missile found a different target. Kethvar communication towers exploded one after another. Soon the alien defenders could not talk to each other. Captain Dongwook Shin led the boarding parties that attacked Kethvar bioships. These living vessels were supposed to be impossible to capture. Their walls were alive and could heal themselves. Their defenses were part of their bodies, but Captain Shin's soldiers had weapons designed to kill living ships. They used acids that ate through bioarmor and viruses that made the ships sick. The Kethvar crews found their own ships turning against them. "Hull breach on Deck 7, one alien commander reported, before his ship's brain died. "The ship is not responding to commands," another said as his vessel started, attacking its own allies. Captain Shin walked through the corridors of a captured bioship. The walls were covered with a substance that looked like blood. "Burn it all," he told his soldiers. These things should never have been built. Major Haiwan Jung led special teams that infiltrated Kethvar command centers. The aliens kept their leaders in deep underground bunkers that were supposed to be safe from any attack. But the humans did not attack the bunkers. They attacked the minds of the aliens inside. "Broadcast the confusion signal," Major Jung ordered. Human ships sent out radio waves that made the Kethvar leaders unable to think clearly. The aliens had always relied on perfect communication and coordination. When their minds became cloudy, their entire command structure fell apart. Kethvar generals gave orders that made no sense. Some told their armies to attack their own positions. Others ordered retreats when they should have attacked. The perfect alien military machine turned into chaos. Lieutenant Colonel In-ho Kwan worked with the other alien species that the Kethvar had enslaved. For hundreds of years, these species had been forced to fight for their conquerors. Now they saw a chance for freedom. "The humans are offering us our worlds back," a Zephyrian commander told his troops. "All we have to do is stop fighting for the Kethvar." "The bird people want to join the rebellion," Colonel Kwan reported to General Choi. "So do the rock creatures and the water dwellers. Half the Kethvar army is about to switch sides." The aliens had never seen anything like this. In their experience, conquered species stayed conquered. They could not understand why anyone would risk their lives to help strangers. "Why are the humans doing this?" a Kethvar war master asked his aide. "What do they gain by freeing other species?" The aide had no answer. The concept of helping others without getting something in return was alien to the Kethvar mind. Commander Yu-jin Song led the assault on the main Kethvar command complex. It was a massive biostructure that rose from the center of their capital city, like a living mountain. Millions of aliens lived and worked inside it. "Remember," Commander Song told her troops, "we are here to destroy their ability to make war, not to destroy them." Her soldiers used weapons that could tell the difference between military targets and civilians. They destroyed weapons factories but left living areas alone. They captured command centers but did not hurt the alien families nearby. This confused the Kethvar even more. Every species they had ever conquered fought to kill as many enemies as possible. But the humans seemed to care about protecting innocent aliens. "Why do they not kill our young?" one Kethvar mother asked as human soldiers walked past her children without harming them. "I do not understand," her mate replied. The human attack was like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. They used technology that was more advanced than anything the Kethvar had. But more importantly, they used ideas that the aliens could not predict or counter. When Kethvar forces tried to make a last stand at their main weapons factory, Lieutenant Colonel Kwan's alien allies attacked them from behind. The Kethvar found themselves fighting a war on two fronts against enemies who knew all their secrets. When alien bioships tried to escape to other star systems, Admiral Yoon's fleet was already waiting for them. The humans had predicted every possible escape route and blocked them all. When Kethvar commanders tried to activate their planet-killing weapons, Major Jung's psychological warfare had already made them too confused to remember the activation codes. "How?" the Supreme War Master of the Kethvar gasped as human soldiers entered his command chamber. "How did a species we had never heard of 20 years ago defeat an empire that has lasted for centuries?" Commander Song removed her helmet and looked at the alien leader. "Because you made one big mistake," she said. "What mistake?" "You hurt our families," Commander Song replied. "And humans do not forgive that." General Choi received reports from across Kethvar space. "Sir, their main fleet is destroyed. Their command structure has collapsed. Most of their slave species have joined us. Resistance is ending on all fronts. What are our losses?" the general asked. "Minimal, sir. The Kethvar never learned how to fight an enemy that thinks differently than they do." General Choi looked at the main screen. The dark planet of Vex Prime was still there, but the evil cities were burning. The biomechanical structures that had controlled an empire were dying. The Kethvar people were alive, but their ability to conquer other worlds was gone forever. "Send a message to Earth," General Choi ordered. "Tell them the Kethvar Empire is finished." But even as victory was certain, the general knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was full of species that had been hurt by the Kethvar. They would need help rebuilding their worlds. They would need protection from other threats. "What happens now?" his aide asked. General Choi thought about the colonies the Kethvar had destroyed. He thought about the billions of innocent people who had suffered under alien rule. He thought about the human families who had been killed in this war. Now we make sure this never happens again, he said. The galaxy is going to learn that Earth protects those who cannot protect themselves. Admiral Yoon's voice came over the radio. All human forces, this is Admiral Yoon. The war is over. We won. Across the fleet, human soldiers cheered. But it was not the cheer of conquerors. It was the cheer of people who had saved their families and friends. The HFY empire that had ruled the galaxy for 3 centuries was gone. In its place, something new was beginning. Something that had never existed before. An empire built not on conquest but on protection. Not on fear but on hope. An empire led by humans who remembered what it felt like to be helpless, and had decided that no one should ever feel that way again. 6 months after the fall of Vex Prime, Hyunwoo Kim stood in the place where his colony's walls used to be. The broken concrete and twisted metal were gone. In their place grew green grass and flowering trees. Children played where aliens had once tried to kill everyone. It looks different, Yuna Park said as she walked up beside him. She wore the blue uniform of the new colony security force. On her shoulder was a patch showing Earth and a dozen other worlds united under one symbol. Everything looks different now, Hyunwoo replied. In the sky above them, human ships moved peacefully alongside vessels from a dozen alien species. Former enemies now worked together to rebuild what the HFY had destroyed. President Joo-hyuk Lee arrived at the colony in a simple transport ship. He was not a tall man or an imposing one, but when he spoke, even former HFY war masters listened carefully. Today we celebrate not just the rebuilding of one colony, he said to the crowd that had gathered. We celebrate the birth of a new galaxy. In the front row sat Vethkar, who had once been the most feared HFY commander. Now he wore simple clothes and worked as a teacher, helping young aliens learn about cooperation instead of conquest. I do not understand humans, Vethkar had told Ambassador Minji Kim during the peace negotiations. You defeated us completely. You could have enslaved us or killed us all. Instead, you offer us homes and jobs and friendship. Why? Ambassador Kim had smiled. Because that is what we wanted for ourselves, she said. A place to live in peace without fear. The peace talks had been unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Usually, when one empire defeated another, the winners took everything and the losers got nothing. But President Lee had offered the HFY something they had never expected. Forgiveness. Your empire is gone, he had told the alien leaders. But your people can have a future. Help us build something better. Director Chung-min Park led the teams that turned former HFY weapons factories into schools and hospitals. Aliens who had spent their lives building tools of war now learned to build tools of peace. The hard part is not destroying weapons, Director Park explained to a group of former HFY engineers. The hard part is teaching people who have only known war how to live without it. Dr. Yanwoo Choi worked with scientists from 20 different species to heal worlds damaged by centuries of fighting. They used human terraforming technology to bring back forests and oceans. They used alien bioscience to create new life forms that could clean polluted air and water. Every species has knowledge that can help, Dr. Choi said as she watched a dead world slowly turn green again. The HFY knew how to grow living buildings. The Zephyrians understand weather control. The crystallines can purify any substance. Together we can fix what war has broken. Taemin Lee found himself working as chief engineer on the newest human space station. But this station was different from anything built before. It was home to families from 30 different species. Human children played with alien children in parks that had trees from 100 worlds. My son is learning to speak HFY, Taemin told Sujin Choi during one of their regular video calls. His best friend is a young alien whose parents used to be our enemies. Sujin smiled from her new hospital on the ear. Medical world of new hope. Yesterday, I delivered a baby whose mother is human and whose father is Zephyrian. The child will grow up knowing 3 languages and 2 cultures. Is that safe? Taemin asked. Mixing species like that? The baby is healthy and beautiful, Sujin replied. And her parents are very happy. I think love is the same in any language. Dong Hyun Ryu became the head of the new galaxy-wide communication network. Instead of sending messages of war and conquest, he now connected families separated by light years and helped coordinate relief efforts for damaged worlds. We receive over 1 million messages a day, he reported to Captain Hyunwoo Kim during a colony council meeting. Most of them are just people saying hello to friends on other planets. But some are calls for help and we answer everyone. Captain Kim nodded. He had been promoted to lead the colony's defense forces, but in 6 months he had not fired a single shot. The human Commonwealth protected fleet patrolled space not to conquer, but to keep peace. The hegemony tried to attack the sanctuary worlds last week, he told the council. Admiral Jae Hyuk-song's fleet arrived before they could hurt anyone. The hegemony ships surrendered without a fight. What happened to them? Hyuna asked. Same thing that happens to everyone who threatens innocent people, Captain Kim replied. They were given a choice. Join the Commonwealth and live in peace or be exiled to the edge of the galaxy where they cannot hurt anyone. Commander Hyojin Nam had retired from active military duty. She now taught at the Human Military Academy, training the next generation of soldiers, but her lessons were not about conquest or domination. A soldier's job is to protect people who cannot protect themselves, she told her students. It does not matter if those people are human or alien. It does not matter if they look like you or speak your language. If they need help, you help them. One of her students, a young Kethvar who had chosen to serve in human forces, raised his hand. Commander, what if the people we are protecting used to be our enemies? Then you protect them anyway, Commander Nam replied. Because today they are just people who need help. The human commonwealth grew larger every month. Species that had been enemies for centuries learned to work together under human leadership, not because humans forced them to, but because the humans showed them something better than endless war. Admiral Bo Young, Cha stood on the observation deck of Earth Defense Station 1 and watched ships from 50 different worlds dock peacefully at the same ports. A year ago, many of these species had been trying to kill each other. How long do you think it will last? General Ji-hun Choi asked as he joined her at the window. What do you mean? This peace. This cooperation. Every empire in galactic history has eventually fallen apart. Admiral Cha watched a human child and a Kethavar child play together in one of the station's parks. Their parents sat nearby, talking and laughing like old friends. Those other empires were built on fear, she said. They lasted only as long as people were afraid. But this is built on something stronger. What is that? Hope, Admiral Cha replied. And hope does not die easily. Chancellor So-Young Lee signed the final treaty that officially ended the last Kethvar resistance movement. The remaining alien hardliners agreed to lay down their weapons in exchange for homes on peaceful worlds where they could live, quietly. With this signature, she announced to the assembled delegates from across the galaxy, the age of conquest is over. From now on, any species that tries to build an empire through violence will face the combined forces of the human commonwealth. The delegates cheered. They represented worlds that had known only war for generations. Their children would grow up in a galaxy where disputes were settled with words instead of weapons. But the most important celebration happened in a small classroom on the rebuilt Kepler colony. Hyun-woo Kim watched his daughter draw a picture of their new world. In the picture, human and alien children played together under a blue sky filled with ships from many worlds. What are you drawing? He asked her. Home, she said simply. Hyun-woo looked out the window at the thriving colony. In the distance, he could see the memorial they had built for the people who died in the last battle. But around the memorial were gardens and playgrounds and schools. Life had returned to this place. Not just human life, but all kinds of life working together. Daddy, his daughter asked, will the bad aliens ever come back? Hyun-woo thought about the human Commonwealth fleet that patrolled space. He thought about the former Kethvar warriors who now served as peacekeepers. He thought about all the species that had learned to trust each other. No, sweetheart, he said. The bad aliens learned how to be good. And if any new bad aliens show up, we will teach them too. His daughter smiled and went back to her drawing. She added more ships to the sky and more children to the playground. In her picture, the galaxy was exactly what it had become, a place where everyone was welcome. Everyone was protected and everyone was home. The humans had fallen from the sky like angels of war. But they had stayed to become something even better, guardians of peace in a galaxy that had forgotten what peace meant. And in that peace, every species could finally reach for the stars without fear.